Well, hello everybody in the Dragon family. Araya Anra coming to you live here. It is yet another Tuesday. Moving along through February, just zip zip. Oh gosh, how many times do I comment on how quickly things are moving? Whew. We've got the wind outside to add to that, moving things pretty briskly right now. But hope you're having a great week and feeling the energies. I'm super excited to see the energies that are here right now. We've had a lot of flame and fire and the air dragon lineage prior to that, bring in really some new different pieces of clearing, exposure, movement forward, leaving stuff behind and burning it up behind us. So it's interesting to feel now. I had a beautiful session this morning and feel this to be a continuance of those energies of really coming into self. So I've sort of put on the description today of what is, really the power to be who you be. What does that mean? What is it the dragons, walking with them and having their gifts assist us? How does that help us to get there? What does it even mean? So I found it really interesting that the copper dragon was so present in this particular session, but still present around me and really putting that energy forward with insight, with our wisdom. The copper dragon is the Maslow of Orion. That's the sort of archetype. There's lots of copper dragons, but they all hold that wisdom piece and accessing our higher wisdom, getting us closer to insight that's related to what our soul level knows. And so I found it an interesting combination when I sat with, all right, copper dragon's definitely here. Who else is here with them? And felt the peridot dragon really talking to me. And the peridot dragon is one of the Middle Earth dragons, one of the crystalline format, the gemstone dragons, I call them, of Middle Earth. And the qualities of these two together really support and hold that movement into who we be and really recognizing even what that means. So just let's talk about them briefly. And the peridot dragon is about transparency. And when we pull the card from the deck, or just read it, because a lot of times you'll feel the dragon that's around you without having to pull a card. At least I do. That's just what I do. And reflecting with that of the other characteristics of the peridot dragon are unabashed and unyielding. Wow. Unabashed and unyielding. The ability to stand transparently in who you be, not needing to apologize for it, not giving in and saying, well, my view isn't as important. Really stepping into the core truth of knowing, yes, I have things to share. This is what I am standing in with my truth. And it doesn't mean we push or are aggressive with that on any others, but it's the ability to really stand in your own presence and that transparently and allow yourself to be seen. Allow yourself to be judged, because there's going to be judgmental eyes and judgmental energy out there. But when you come into the ability to unconditionally know and love self, that's when you're starting to really come into the knowing of who you be, reconnecting to your highest self. And that's what the dragons have been here to do with us. Why is it Walking with the Dragons that help us do that? And why is the workshop called that? Some of you know I've got a workshop coming up this weekend, and if you didn't and it's triggering you, I would get signed up now. We're starting Saturday morning. We've got 2 days from 9 to 3 Pacific Standard Time, which should be a decent time zone for most of you. It might mean late hours over in Europe or super early hours for the Australians. But we've got an amazing group pulled together, and this is about building what the group needs, about really conforming a set of work to what dynamically wants to transpire there, whose dragons are present as far as like what they embody, what they're needing for their ascension journey. So I have no idea. It's going to be off the charts. I'm super excited. But it's in that ability, it's called Walking with the Dragons, because when we learn to walk with them, we're learning to walk with ourselves. And they're the ones that are pulling all the bits and pieces away for us to truly see ourselves, to see the mirror and be able to embrace it, love it, own it, and be transparent with it so that others can step into who they be and know that if I can love and embrace myself fully, wow, I can do that with everybody else too. And it's what's going to shift this world into that unconditional loving presence that is the divine here present on the planet, that is that ability to know that everybody brings a piece, and recognize where we've often put judgment, where we've put resistance, where we've put walls up, and knowing like, all right, it's got to be me first, allowing transparency here is going to take me there. And the other part of that equation, especially today, we've got the Copper Dragon present, and the Copper Dragon is not just about wisdom and insight, but about willingness. So wisdom, insight, and willingness. Because we have the wisdom in our higher self, because we have insight coming in, and when we use the dragons to help open our clairs and open our greater telepathic communication bodies, and we start to have access to that knowing, that deep inner knowing, that's coming from our wisdom. That's coming from that soul level insight and wisdom that you carry, that is your guide. You know, essentially we have guides and guardians, but they are the access point, because we can't hear ourselves yet, because we've got so many layers and baggage around it, that the guides are here to help us pull all that stuff off and get to our own insight, awareness, and knowing, in order to really fully live in our full heart, in our full power, in our full insight and wisdom, to merge all those three and let that beam through the heart into that transparent, loving presence that is within all of us, and allow, when we're in that heart space, creativity pushing forth of what I know to be giving, loving, insightful, helpful in the world. We each bring a gift. What is it within me that is wanting to blossom and bring forth? And I can't align to that until I'm actually in alignment with myself. So these two energies really aligning to, all right, I've got the insight and the wisdom, but do I have the willingness to be transparent? Do I have the willingness within me to maybe feel like I'm putting myself on trial or to be judged? Are you willing to go there? A lot of us haven't been. We have resistance walls because we've been persecuted in other lifetimes. We remember being chained or in prison. We remember being tortured. We remember being burned at the stake. We remember all these different things that it might not be conscious, but we have fear about it. And where we recognize resistance is hey, pay attention to that. Where do I have resistance in my life? Where can I be willing to go beyond that and drop some walls? Drop something that allows me to take 1, 2, 3 more steps closer to who I fully be. And am I letting that out? Am I willing to do it in the quiet chambers of my own heart, in the quiet chambers of my own space here? Can I start to do that with others and build my trust in myself, build my trust very gently? And even if others don't embrace or accept, if they still have walls of resistance, by me standing in that, it's going to allow them eventually to feel that it's possible, to feel that they too can get there. And it's all about inspiring others. The dragons are here because they love to inspire. They love to embrace and hold space for us. And they know how hard this journey is. And I do remind them often, when I'm in readings or getting insights from my own meditation work, a lot of times you feel like, wow, you're giving me a directive. Like, I feel like I'm telling myself to do something that is really big and scary. Like, I'm not ready for that. Or, you know what, you've been here a lot. I need a break. Can you just sort of back off a little bit? Sometimes we have to remind them, like, the human journey is hard. It's taxing physically. It's heavy density-wise. It's energetically chaotic at times. And it's okay to remind them and say, have you been on Earth? Do you remember? Help me here. Clear this so that I have the energy to do it. Help me have a power nap. Let me just rest and back off of this. I know we want to go into more work, but it's okay to remind them and say, okay, I'm the one in body here. I'm the one going through this stuff and I need a break, or I need a lot more water, or I need whatever it is. And that's also a part of stepping into who you be and your power within that of, what do I need? What are my own needs, and are they being met? Do I need to nurture myself? Do I need to slow down a bit and like stop the pace, stop the craziness, step off of some of my commitments that aren't serving my heart? I know a lot of us in this generalized society, at least in the United States, there's, I don't know if it's a competitive need, but it's definitely something where we're so busy and yet we stack more on because we see a need. I know the big-hearted people in my world do that constantly. So whether it's volunteering to do something with Boy Scouts or taking a leadership position on some committee that they need chairman of, or they need officers of, or they just need members of, or there's a project that you really want to see happen, so you're like, all right, I guess it's going to be me. It's okay to ask for help in that, and it's also okay sometimes to say no or just stagger and allow them to be like, whoa, I got too much on my plate right now. I'm not able to focus and allow one to be really great because there's too many here. And even though I'm passionate about all of them, what is my heart really speaking to right now that I want to tackle? What do I really want to say yes to? And can I give myself permission with my wisdom and insight and my willingness to be transparent and stand unabashedly and unyieldingly in my own knowing and power and say, you know, I need to back out of this, or I can't really say yes to that right now. I need to know where I'm headed and have my own house in order to step out and do that. And it's absolutely okay to do that. We need to honor stuff. We need to honor our own inner knowing. And sometimes it just takes a little dragon tapping on our shoulder to remind us of, it's okay. You got this. You're going to get there. And these are the energies that are going to help you. And that's one of the greatest things and why I created the deck, was to have all these dragons. There's 41 dragons and 3 other cards in here that are meant to give that inspiration every day. If, you know what, I can't feel it on my own. I'm not there yet. That's okay. You'll get there. You will eventually know what dragons are around you, even if you don't right now. And use these until you do. Use these until you have that system of communication opened up enough, and they're going to be the ones to help you open it. Where you pull that card and you read up and you say, oh, all right, exactly. And you know what, I'm just going to mention, because it just popped in, I'm so excited that this deck thus far has 2 nominations for Best Debut Artist and Best Oracle Deck from 2022. When they're released in 21, the awards are for 2022. Super excited. The nominations are still coming in for other categories, but they announced that. So watch, I will be making a post, because it's going to be public vote on all those that were nominated, like going to the Grammys or the Oscars, right, of Oracle decks. It's the International Tarot Foundation's awards, and super excited that these were recognized and nominated, especially that Nicolas Pena, my incredible artist who nailed the energy of these for me. He's from Argentina, incredibly gifted, and I always want to give a shout out to him. So using that deck, if you don't have one yet, they're on the site, dragonwithin.com/layer, and allowing the dragons to start communicating with you. You're all here because the dragons are showing up in some way, in some form in your journey, or you've been passionate about them and you're like, what is that? I need to know more. That's why I'm doing the workshop. You guys realize I haven't done a workshop since 2019. Everything in 2020 got canceled and travel has been hard. So we came up in January with this idea. It was on a live. We were talking about it. And this idea generated, and here we are. This Saturday and Sunday, 25th and 26th, all virtual workshop. We don't have to go rent a space. We don't have to fly anywhere. We can be in the comfort of our own home. And it's going to be powerhouse because the tightness of the group, that way, just like all my other programs, it is amazing the energy and the meditations and how much it gets shifted very, very quickly. So I almost feel like it's doing quantum flight over a weekend or like an introduction to quantum flight over a weekend period. I'm expecting big things today. And you know what? I just realized, I apologize. My sound is probably super low. I had my microphone in my lap and didn't get it plugged in. So I apologize. The sound probably just got magically better for everybody. So hopefully you hung in there. I haven't done that in a long time. And that's, you know what? I make mistakes. There's who I be, unabashedly, unyieldingly transparent, here for you guys with my dragon family. If I'm not going to live and walk my talk, there's no point. I leave stuff out sometimes. I forget things sometimes. I often have, in the past, been really good since the turn of the year. I have left the microphone out, and it was very frustrating for people who couldn't hear the video and couldn't turn it up high enough, and it really depended on your system, because I could always hear it on mine. But we are human. And we are so much more than that. And are you ready to step into that more and allow? And so I encourage you, are you willing to be transparent? Are you willing to be unyielding and willing to live that and to be it and recognize? Sometimes the hardest part of our journey is to see our resistances, to see where we're backed off, where we're not letting ourselves go. And usually that will show up in your journey. For me, it has always been as consistent experiences that always have the same emotional trigger or the same continuous output, whether it's, never being like invited to the group, never being part of a group, or always having someone in traffic cutting you off or not recognizing you. There's patterns that we see that are usually our like first visual, external visual of our law of attraction, trying to show you where you're resistant, where you're not allowing yourself to see, or more importantly, feel what's underneath, what's going on. And when we can feel it and let it in, that's when all of a sudden these insights can come as to, whoa, I've been blocking even seeing and recognizing that within myself. And that's when that external thing that might have been really hard, really painful, really ugly, really chaotic or dramatic, whatever, that's when those external things become a great gift in your life, where you can recognize and go, you know what, without that, I wouldn't have been able to see this mirror. I wouldn't have been able to feel the depths of that. And, I remember one of them that I'd shared a long time ago was consistently for me being cut off in traffic. And I know I just mentioned that, but I didn't follow up with like what that was really showing me. And when I really got into the emotion and I let myself go through like the immediate, like being pissed off and like, it was really about not being seen. It really came down to literally, they had no conscious like thing about me driving next to them or trying to get in here or there. They're just driving. Had nothing to do with them, but my law of attraction and my perception of what was going on was my own wounded filter, my own thing within that was literally feeling like, God, they're not even seeing me. They're not giving me any respect. They're not paying attention to me. It's because I felt not seen. I felt like I wasn't being taken into consideration. And it had nothing to do with traffic. It had nothing to do with those people. But everything within me, from old stuff down in my childhood and my early years, and even further back in some other lifetimes of, I'm not being seen. I'm not being taken into consideration. And I got that from being cut off in traffic. What a huge gift. So now it doesn't happen anymore. My law of attraction will change as those pieces change and I recognize and see them and feel them. Because when I felt that and felt how awful it felt to not be taken into consideration and the situations where it was happening and that my needs weren't being met and I wasn't being seen, once all that was out of my heart and just big ugly cry, big bleh, vomit of emotional stuff, that's actually what changes your whole field, gets you more in tune with actually your truth without all of those woundings, without all the wounded filters. Getting to the core of the beauty that is within you. And then your law of attraction starts to change, and it starts to change dramatically and rapidly as soon as you really start coming into the fullness of who you be and merging with your dragon. It's the whole reason I designed the Way of the Dragon Heart program, to step into who you be. And then the quantum flight version of that, that's the rapid fire 8 weeks of that program that is literally like stepping into who you be. That's the power of it. So I'm wishing that for all of you guys, whatever little tiny tidbit you are ready to hear today and take off with, let yourself feel it, let yourself be triggered. And then instead of, I used to get angry and project out and swear at those drivers or honk at them or like, that doesn't serve anybody. It just projects more karmic energy coming back to you. But when I could own it and feel it without projecting and let all those emotions up and out without like throwing that energy onto anybody else, that's when shift happens. That's when it changes, and that's when your law of attraction then changes again, because it matches more your true vibration. Your vibrational rate keeps sliding over closer and closer and closer to its actual signature. When you're over here with all of this crap blocking your full signature, and you finally get there. So it's a beautiful process. I encourage you, if you have questions about it, try and get a discovery call or a reading, or send me an email and we can talk about it on a live so that everybody benefits. It's what I'm here for and it's what I love doing. And it's consistent daily that I get to expose people to, like, all right, try this on your path. Let's see what's deeper. The readings I really, really love doing because it's a full, transparent connection into soul level between you and I. And that's when real work gets done. And typically, you'll know when you need a session because you get to a plateau and you just can't get past that wall. You can't get past that. And whatever it is in my field that has that gift of tipping the stone over the edge so that it gets the ball rolling and getting that point of clarity. As I have my tagline on my site, says a moment of clarity can change everything. Whether it's clarity coming from a reading from someone like myself, or clarity from an insight that you allow to come through by feeling what's triggering you without projecting it on anybody else. And all of a sudden, like, my insight was, oh my God, I don't feel seen. I'm not seen. Not just on the road, but in multiple situations in my life. That insight changed so much for me. And it's those little breakthroughs that add up to the big breakthroughs that really get you moving forward quickly. And the energies on the planet are so supportive of that right now. It's a super exciting time to be alive. It's a super exciting time to see people diving into their spiritual path because, man, it's fast. And it sometimes it's a little too fast and you're like, whoa, put the brakes on. I'm like, wow, I can't change this rapidly, but we can, and you can integrate it all, and you can also take the breaks when you need to. All right, so hopefully that gave you a little pop here, there, wherever, and reach out if you need my assistance. I look forward to the workshop. Join us if you are feeling that inkling in your heart, having that little pull of like, ooh, workshop might be exactly what I need right now. And we will see you next Tuesday on the other side of it. Bye for now, everybody.